What would you do if you were abandoned on an uninhabited island, thousands of miles from civilization? No phone, no rescue boat, no help coming. Just you, the wilderness, and the crushing weight of absolute isolation. Today, we're telling you the extraordinary true story of Alexander Selkirk, the Scottish sailor whose unbelievable survival became the inspiration for one of literature's most famous characters, Robinson Crusoe. But unlike the fictional tale, Selkirk's story is raw, terrifying, and absolutely real. Alexander Selkirk was born in 1676 in Lower Largo, a tiny fishing village in Scotland. From an early age, he was a troublemaker, headstrong, defiant, and hungry for adventure. At just 19 years old, he ran away to sea, leaving behind his family and the predictable life of a Scottish fisherman. By 1703, Selkirk had become a privateer, essentially a government-sanctioned pirate, sailing under Captain William Dampier. Their mission? To attack Spanish ships during the War of Spanish Succession and claim treasure for the British Crown. It was dangerous, brutal work, but for young Selkirk, it was the adventure he craved. However, Selkirk soon found himself serving under a different captain, Thomas Stradling, commander of a ship called the Castaway Ports. And this is where everything went horribly wrong. By September 1704, the Castaway Ports was in terrible condition. After months at sea battling storms and enemy fire, the ship was literally falling apart. Wooden planks were rotting, the hull was leaking, and Selkirk, who served as the sailing master, believed the vessel was dangerously unseaworthy. He repeatedly warned Captain Stradling that continuing the voyage would be suicide. But Stradling, proud and stubborn, refused to listen. The two men clashed violently. Finally, in a moment of fury and desperation, Selkirk made a declaration that would change his life forever. When the ship stopped to resupply at a remote island called Mas a Tierra, part of the Juan Fernandez archipelago off the coast of Chile, Selkirk announced he would rather stay on the island than continue sailing on a death trap. Stradling called his bluff. "Fine," the captain said coldly. "You can stay." Within hours, Selkirk found himself standing alone on the beach, watching the Castaway Ports sail away toward the horizon. He screamed for them to come back. He begged. But Stradling didn't even look back. Alexander Selkirk was now completely, utterly alone. Selkirk's first reaction was pure panic. He had a musket with limited gunpowder, a knife, a hatchet, a cooking pot, some tools, his Bible, and the clothes on his back. That was it. The island was volcanic, covered in dense jungle, and filled with strange animal sounds that echoed through the night. Selkirk found a small cave near the beach and huddled inside, terrified and overwhelmed by crushing loneliness. For days, he did almost nothing but stare at the ocean, hoping against hope that the ship would return. He later admitted that during those early weeks, he considered ending his own life multiple times. But then something happened that forced him to act. The sea lions arrived. During mating season, thousands of massive, aggressive sea lions invaded the beach, cutting off Selkirk's access to food and water. These enormous creatures were territorial and dangerous. He had no choice but to retreat inland into the very jungle he feared. Moving inland turned out to be the best decision Selkirk could have made. Behind the hostile beach, he discovered lush valleys filled with wild cabbage palms, turnips, and fruit trees. He found freshwater streams, and most importantly, he found wild goats. These goats had been left behind by Spanish sailors decades earlier and had multiplied across the island. At first, Selkirk hunted them with his musket, but when his gunpowder ran out, he learned to chase them down on foot. Over months of practice, he became incredibly fast and agile, running barefoot across jagged volcanic rocks. He domesticated some goats for milk and meat, creating a sustainable food source. But survival wasn't just about food. The island had another serious problem. Rats. Massive, aggressive rats, some as big as cats, infested the island. They gnawed at Selkirk's feet and hands while he slept, threatening to spread infection. Selkirk's solution was brilliant. He domesticated the island's wild cats. These feral cats became his protectors, sleeping around him at night and keeping the rats at bay. They also became his only companions, easing the crushing loneliness. Selkirk's life on the island was filled with near-death experiences. Once, while chasing a goat, he lost his footing and tumbled off a cliff. He crashed into rocks below, severely injured and unable to move for days. Ironically, the goat he'd been chasing cushioned his fall and likely saved his life. Another terrifying moment came in October 1704, when 2 Spanish ships anchored offshore. Selkirk's heart raced with hope until he realized they were enemy vessels. If the Spanish captured him, he would face torture or forced labor in their brutal salt mines. He sprinted into the jungle as Spanish sailors came ashore to gather supplies. They spotted him and opened fire. In a moment of desperate cleverness, Selkirk climbed a tall tree and hid among the thick leaves. The Spanish searched for hours. At one point, a group of sailors actually urinated directly beneath his tree, but they never looked up. Eventually, they gave up and returned to their ships. As months turned into years, Selkirk transformed from a terrified, desperate man into a hardened survivor. His clothes disintegrated, so he made new ones from goat skins. His knife wore out, so he forged new ones from scrap metal he found on the beach. His feet became so tough from running barefoot that he no longer felt pain on sharp rocks. His beard grew wild and long. He looked, by his own admission, more like a hairy beast than a man. But perhaps the hardest challenge was maintaining his sanity. Without human contact, Selkirk feared he would lose his ability to speak. So every day he read aloud from his Bible, talking to himself and to God. He sang hymns. He recited prayers. These rituals kept his mind sharp and gave him purpose. He built 2 huts from pimento wood and grass, one for sleeping, one for cooking and prayer. He kept a daily routine, maintained a signal fire, and scanned the horizon every single day for ships. 4 years passed this way. On February 1st, 1710, after 4 years, 4 months, and 4 days on the island, Selkirk spotted 2 ships on the horizon. This time they were British. The ships were the Duke and the Duchess, privateering vessels commanded by Captain Woodes Rogers. And by incredible coincidence, one of the crew members was William Dampier, the very captain who had originally brought Selkirk to these waters. Selkirk raced to the beach and lit his signal fire. A landing party was sent to investigate. When they found him, they barely recognized him as human. Wild-haired, sun-darkened, dressed in animal skins, Selkirk was so overwhelmed with emotion that he could barely speak. Captain Rogers later wrote in his journal that Selkirk was the most physically fit and mentally calm man he had ever met, despite, or perhaps because of, his years of isolation. Selkirk was brought aboard and appointed second mate. His knowledge of the island helped the scurvy-stricken crew recover with fresh food and water. Within weeks, Selkirk was back to his old life, raiding Spanish ships, hunting treasure, and sailing the world. Selkirk returned to England in 1711, completing a full circumnavigation of the globe. His incredible survival story spread like wildfire. Newspapers interviewed him. Writers begged for details. In 1719, author Daniel Defoe published Robinson Crusoe, a novel directly inspired by Selkirk's ordeal. It became one of the most famous books in English literature. In 1966, the Chilean government officially renamed Masa Tierra as Isla Robinson Crusoe, and the nearby island became Isla Alejandro Selkirk in his honor. Alexander Selkirk's story is more than just survival. It's a testament to the unbreakable human spirit. Alone, afraid, and abandoned, he refused to give up, and in doing so, he became a legend. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this incredible true story, hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing historical tales. What would you do if you were stranded alone for 4 years? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time.